The first Spanish derby of 2025 is here, and the questions are louder than ever. Is Team Heretics really back, and will Giant X be back at all? As we jump into the map veto, are we expecting to see any surprises here? Icebox is gone. No.
Yeah, but I mean, with the way Heretics have been playing, it makes sense to get rid of Icebox.
It's what they banned last week as well. So.
Exactly. Pearl going out, GX, double losses to BBL, probably relatively happy about that. When you come into Haven, this is where things get interesting. Heretics lose it to Vitality, lose it to Mate, so I think this could be a really good battleground for GX. They've changed up, moving away from the Neon, which has helped them. They took a victory over BBL after a couple tries. Split going to be the pick of Team Heretics again, somewhere that they beat Apex. It's obviously a map that they're looking to heavily include in their pool. Meanwhile, GX are on a 4-loss streak on that map, so definitely set up for Heretics' success off rip, with Lotus being a bit bad for both of them. They've both been destroyed recently on.
I think that we have to be realistic, right? Let's try and get kickoff out of the way. You know, I think that Giant X have been very vocal and open about, yeah, we didn't adapt to the meta. We didn't think that this is how we wanted to invest our time. I think that we focus on the things that we can do and that we can change for this stage 1. What are we looking for in terms of the compositions? Because Split, a map that the Team Heretics has chosen, that is where they showed some innovation. And speaking about individuals, for example, Cloud on the Deco looked pretty good to me, Midge.
Yeah, I think there's a real, when you talk about getting with the meta, adapting to it, and I think for GX, that's exactly what we want to see. Something like a Teocom coming in, maybe add in the Breach, and we can see a lot more space taking, a lot more aggression in the early round. For GX, that's sort of what I liked about looking back at some of the previous games. Tamazi, it was like back in January 15th, he had his last decent performance on Omen. He's struggled since then. And I think that was actually, I think it was Haven, where he was getting hyper-aggressive early, taking control in the extremities, and I'd like to see a comp switch to CGX enable them to do that a bit more, because again, this is a great tool that maybe hasn't been used in a way that benefits him most in recent memory.
Yeah, absolutely. And we jump into Agents, so then changes on both of the sides. Team Heretics going for that double duelist on both of the sides. Cloud on the Yoru. Oh my god. Kata, what do you make of this? Which one do you like most?
I think it's gonna be super interesting, and I'm looking for Giant like with Tejo, because with Sova I get the comp, like the goal of the comp, but with Tejo I'm not sure. For me it's not working the same, and you cannot combine as good. So
I think,
let's see.
I think Giants are taking big inspiration from Vitality's comp, where they were able to deal with Heretics on this map. It's a very interesting take moving into Haven to have your ISO and your Yoru, but this caused so many problems for Heretics. But then again, you have to think that that was Safe and Durka that they were up against, so big boots to fill.
This is absolutely insane. I think that this has to be in history the first time that Purple plays on that ISO. Having Tomazi and still putting Cloud on the Yoru, I have a lot of questions and I need 2 people to give me answers. Please, Fancy and Minnie, take it away.
We'll do our very best for you, but I think we're in very much alignment with you there, Bea. A couple of question marks around this. Again, the fact of Cloud having to be in this sort of role here, a lot on his shoulders. Minnie, but in your mind, when we talk about these 2 teams, we do have Heretics where we're still looking for a bit of a spark, a bit of fire underneath them, building back towards where they are. But what about Giant X in your mind? Where do you see these guys on that kind of table, I guess?
Well, I think for Heretics, we need to see them. We need to see that form from last year, not just for Heretics' sake, but for our sake as a region. We need some team from somewhere.
Please.
So it can't just be Vitality at the top. I think we're going to need to see, you know, someone else helping. And I'm hoping that is Heretics. Woot going to the ISO, I quite like. We saw him on Split last game, and it looked quite good.
He did. We'll pause for that, because it looks like Cloud might be in a bit of trouble. However, if you turn your attention on the other parts of the map, Giant X are getting a bit of a good lay of the land here. They're going to explore behind. There is still going to be utility in the way, so it won't be completely carte blanche. But for now, they're going to get that A-side control. Plant should be in. Not too many threats.
I love this flank from Giant X here. I think that if you're going to play a retake, you have to come in with a flank here. And they're in a good spot. They're getting pushed, though.
Yeah, you can. It looks like Heretics want to take space away, maybe feeling that there is that flank coming in, but again, Giant X, step for step, kind of matching that energy, sitting a little passive, and now the push comes in through. Oh, Purpo! That was a bloody good attempt. We are down to just Woot now in a 1v2. It ain't going to be easy. Turns the flash and finds another. Ace off the rip for Woot. What a belting start.
Well, I'm glad we start with Heretics, and I'm bigging up Woot already, and he gets a 5k in the pistol.
Not bad.
Like, I think that, like, I was going to say that, like, Woot, in general, I think this year, he's been a bit all over the place with his kind of agents and roles.
Yep, absolutely.
It seems like the ISO is one of the agents that he's going to be fine on.
More of that, please. Take a bit of that. And that's got to mean a lot, though, because, again, when we talk about Heretics, I think that Apex game is heavy in my mind as well, of how close that was, dropping the map there, a bit of a confidence shaker, and in my mind I want to see Heretics looking more confident. But I do want to say, Giant X are not a... Christ, Billy, but that was not bad. But in my mind as well, Giant X are a dangerous team, right? It's easy to kind of overlook them at times because we haven't seen the kind of sum total of the parts coming together and it all seeming to work right.
Yeah, I think they've always been like a middle of the pack kind of team. And I want them to stop being mid. I want them to, like, I don't want them to rely on qualifying through this group by beating Na'Vi. I want to see them actually compete with the Heretics, maybe even snatch a win from one of them. One of the criticisms I think I've had of Giant X is this kind of standard approach to the game. But I like this composition. I like the Teo involved in this composition. I think it's actually better than the Soba.
Yeah, you were kind of leaning on that when we saw this at the beginning. Again, if this does get a little bit more dangerous, they are... Hold on, we'll come back to that because they are looking to try and commit a little bit ahead of those smokes from CT. Purpo's done really well. Good trade and spacing from Rienz to get that in motion. And with the smoke now in place, less opportunities for Westside. Tomasi, statistically... Okay. Tomasi statistically did have a great game on this map against BBL. Now, to try and pull off a 1v2 though, and Rienz feels like kind of the end of the line here if it does come down to it. Phantom ready, and it'll be Minibu to claim. So, lovely work from Heretics, maybe losing a little more than they'd like, but still getting through the storm. But we were kind of discussing this composition earlier when we first saw it come in, and you did say you prefer that Teo in play here, especially in this scenario.
Yeah, I think that Sova with ISO, when, you know, back in my day, when we played this composition, it was about that undercut with the Sova shock to take A main control, but with the one undercut now, you can't rely on that as much. And so I think Teo is just a better agent than Sova in general, so why not play the Teo? I like this gamble from Giant X. Or this meta read even. Yeah,
it could be a really good step in the right direction. Eyes towards Purpo here as well. Ult is ready for him. Maybe an opportunity. Would you want to use it here? We'll see. Already Cloud, though, willing to take a risk. And he's not alone in this matter. Exploring through middle. The pressure coming towards Garage. It's Woot to try and take the fight. Spams away. Benji on the claim. Trade comes in and the ult did go through. Now that found nothing. Very little reward here for Purpo.
Runner's on his...
Oh, the timing of that. I thought Minibu might have had him then. Kind of in between the pages, but Runner's positioning here could be nasty. Now the Owl drone going to go up, will reveal position, but the spam's just right. Cloud and Runner in unison, making them sweat here. Now keep in mind this was a bonus for Heretics, but it did have some bite to it. Couple of rifles littered around. Now if it gets more costly, I start looking at this as a very good round. Boo, not going to have any play here as Purpo ready towards the push.
Yeah, I like what Heretics tried to do with the kind of aggression towards middle. You know, they had to do something with their kind of economy status, but Giant X ready for it.
Yeah.
And they should be ready for it. They're playing a Euro.
So far, kind of, we're looking at these early rounds, right? We're into round 4 coming up now, but this feels like Giant X have been abusing mid time and time again. Happy to pressure through towards window. Happy to be aggressive. Do you think this is going to continue as we get into the kind of thicker things now?
Yeah, I think that it's going to be interesting to see.
High as well. Are we missing shields here? No, okay, they did get the light shields, they just weren't showing up. I was petrified. Hopefully that gets fixed.
Nothing on the recon, so we can see Woot not going to actually pull the ult, and he's going to be able to save it for the post plant now. But again, Giant X pushing down the center of the map, like you're saying. Nice little flank here.
Yeah, they're so quick to this. The tempo of this game has been excessively high so far. Wait patiently. I think Woot might get a good idea of what's coming. Still has that ult ready, as you highlighted. Didn't burn early, but might need to utilize now. As it stands, Giant X taking over long. The site's going to get smaller here, and Woot going to be put into a corner. Tries to fight forward, falls for it. Giant X, they get the way in the door. It's Minibu to fight back. But at this point, it's a 3v3. It's going to get hectic here. Crunching towards the site. This pressure up long is working perfectly. Purpo to Massey, removing the player by player. Boo, overwhelmed. Giant X with a lovely plan and a near-on perfect execution of it.
Yeah, and it's Tomasi here with the 3K. We asked more from him from the last series, and he's answering right here. I think it's interesting already. We've seen 2 rounds from Giant X, right? It's almost like they're re-execing his side.
Yes.
You know, A-exec on the retake, C-exec on the retake there again.
Enemy remaining.
Heretics did do a good job of pushing through the CT to sniff out that it felt weak, but ultimately just lost the aim juice.
Now, this does feel like we've got a bit of a rework from Giant X here, right? Because we've seen these guys for such a long time now, and we've been waiting to see them pick up a little bit more potency
I want to see like
or
an identity.
Yes.
It's not just like, you know, standard, middle of the road. You know? Like this is more of an identity to me.
I really like seeing it. And again, you look at this aggression down A long, all of them moving together, one player left on the other side of the map, and of course they're not going to challenge. We are in the retake meta, to say the least. Ult going to go in, and again, very little value.
Nothing.
Yep. So that's, you look at this purchase, maybe banking on a little bit of damage from Woot there. The only one with the Guardian, everyone else on the Stingers. We have been seeing them look better though. Yampi certainly looked fantastic with it. West side, going to be pressured towards CT. Can they fight forward or are they held back once again? Cloud is getting the info. He's getting a lot of info here. West side trying to play it forward. Rien's catching him in the smoke. Time to play in, but Heretics digging in their heels. They're not going to give up the site without a fight. But this time, it's down to just Tomasi. He did well here, but that's just too many players. Heretics keeping bodies on the site and actually weathering the storm.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big round to lose from Giant X. I think it's curious they went for a 4 on A setup against the kind of economy status of Heretics, like a very low buy. Leaving the site completely open a couple of times is fine in a game. Leaving it open against like essentially a very weak buy, like I'm not sure about the decision.
Look, we've been discussing playing against kind of half buys, force buys, your anti-eco prowess. I'll let Giant X off the hook a little bit in some of these, because again, I do want to see if they can keep this clean going forward. So far, I've just been impressed with how they've been approaching this map. Westside is once again going to be forced to deal with this, but I think Boo is cracking the conundrum here. Oh, and he goes unchecked. This could be lovely for him. Boo with an opportunity to farm. Benji's already helped him out. Do note though, Giant X did have very little bring into this, couple of sheriffs. I am looking at that Vandal on Tomasi, but Heretics seeming to navigate all the threats.
Yeah, it was a nice little anti-eco setup from them. They shouldn't be caught off too much. Nice little shot from Miniboo there to clean up the gun.
This should be a formality, lovely from Heretics. And look, I put a question mark with Giant X on those kind of antis as well when they're having to deal with that lighter buy, maybe misplaying it a little bit. Heretics seem very equipped. So that's a tick in the box. For them, this is now just the road back in, but we are going to start seeing those ults, Mini. They're cycling up here. What are we looking for? Are we something set in mind? Are we expecting a little pocket play? It's been aggression from Giant X, but that can't constantly work. There will be eventually that fall-off point.
Yeah, I think it's interesting here. They're going to have to work around the Yoru Sova ult on the Heretic side. Like, it's a very easy combo. Miniboo up with the ult, and then Riens can just ult where the Yoru is invisible. So they're going to have to think about how to adapt to that this round. Same kind of default approach here for Heretics, just grabbing that orb, kind of containing the map. Maybe to do with Giant X's aggression, just going to contain it in.
I like it. But now, though, it almost feels unfortunate that Heretics don't bump in to Giant X, who had been pushing those extremities quite often. Stands Miniboo, spotting one. Having a little glance around, clearing through sewer, spots him again, should have the info, and there it is, the combination of the ults we were waiting for, and it's rewarded. Rien's gonna connect towards Cloud. The site is open and available. Do they try and play it back in? They do. Miniboo is here, however, and that smoke near on complementary if they try and play towards Hell. But they're trying to cut through the other side, play it from Graffiti, play towards Quad, but the vision, it's blocked. Doubling up, they fight towards Sewer, and it's gone as a 1-for-1, but it's down to a 4v3. Runner, Tomasi, and Westside trying to hold on, and Woot's having none of it. Westside last one alive, and he's not all that near. Held back by CT. They take their time building those ults back up.
30 seconds left. Spike planted.
It's going to be a save from Westside. I think they shouldn't be losing that gun.
Valuable.
But yeah, Heretics there, nice understanding of how to use that combo. They didn't go into it immediately, so it wasn't fully readable from Giant X. They couldn't stack anywhere. The flooding attempt was nice from Giant X, but 4v5 flooding in with the tail, they lost the tail, which is kind of big. So going forward, I want to see what other layers here from Giant. We see the timeout coming in. I'm wondering, like, they've shown us some nice things.
Okay.
But what happens when the pushes stop working, flanks stop working?
Well, that's always the fun part, isn't it, right? This is when you get into the nitty-gritty of things and you start really seeing the depth. For Giant X, they looked refreshed. I like the aggression, I like the comps, I like the, you know, the choices coming in. Cloud a little quiet, but that's not the end of the world. It's very early into this series so far, but we like the concept. However, it seems to have hit a bit of a brick wall here, and Heretics they've caught on to this, right? Once you've been flanked once or twice, you're kind of reading into it. I don't think that's hard for Boo to find a way to cure, but now, what's the adaptation from Giant X?
It's awkward because it's like you've already started with kind of a game plan where you're playing for retakes, and now you're against ults 2 rounds in a row, like the ISO ult now, you know, Yoru Sova ult last round, where you kind of do need to play for it. You're not going to hold the site against those ults sometimes. So personally, it's almost like that game plan should have been reversed a little bit, play a bit more standard, and then go for those pushes, retakes later on. So I'll be honest, I don't know what the call is here.
Well, that's what we're going to find out, I can imagine. Tricky, as it feels like Heretics are getting stability. Now they're starting to build that comfort. You're starting to see the Outlaw coming out. Good to see that being more and more utilized. I'm happy to see it in effect. Mini Boo going to be wielding that. And of course, I'm sure Sliggy's already done it, mate.
Okay,
He's already, you know, appreciate you, Sliggy.
Yep.
Shout out to you. Loved the look with Ardis earlier. Probably should be my background. Sliggy with thighs like that. Woof. For now, though, we are on to what? Sheriff Frenzy, Stinger.
Yeah, not much to say for this round.
No. Not one for you. You leave this to me.
Nah.
Thanks, mate.
You can have this one.
Oh, you treat me so well.
I'm joking. I'm joking. We have seen a switch in the Cypher setup. You know, we've seen a switch in the Cypher setup. So if they do go, if Heretics do go towards this A site, there's a little bit of danger there. They're just trying to build these little trap plays, and they've got 2 in garage, 2 on the A site. Again, I like this kind of proactive approach from Giant X. It's not like they're just sitting still all the time.
Bit too proactive, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean,
if you're Heretics, you've kind of been conditioned into sitting into a passive default, right? And that's a natural reaction to the first couple of rounds of the aggression.
Yep.
And it just makes it so hard for Giant X to try and pull off these kind of smaller, quirkier plays where they're trying to, you know, find a little pocket to play from.
Yeah, like when you play the double joist, you feel like you have to make those kind of plays sometimes, and sometimes you just don't.
It happens. Oh, going to be actually utilized on this round. A little surprised, if anything. Woot, though, going to have to try and mark his man, Tomasi, with the stick. Oh, well, it was really exciting for a little while, and then...
Okay, I think that's 2 in a row. No, it's not.
Are you feeling a little bold?
I watched Woot lose one to Batu in some VOD I was watching. So I was like, maybe Woot's not good with the ISO ult.
It took 2 examples and Mini's
Bro,
absolutely
you can't go to, like, Alpha's not lost 2 in his whole career, so like Woot's being good on the ISO though, don't get me wrong, but some of those that ult tech needs some work. His micro and the ult need to work.
Crazy you're flaming like this.
Bro, if they want to go win internationals, this is the kind of little details that they need to iron out, you know?
Okay, fair play. I mean, Woot is at 11-4, but by Mini's account...
He could be better.
He could be
better.
Got it, fair enough. Look, people have wanted the Mini After Dark flame to come out. And
it's easier to flame someone when they're 11-4.
That is true, you're not punching down.
No.
That'd be quite hard to find anyone to punch down.
Come on.
I'm sorry. Oh,
Cloud, he's still...
I kind of... Yeah, now you're doing all right, Woo. You're back in the good books. First man advantage as well, so early on. This is huge.
Yeah, again, it's the contain. They're just containing this, waiting for Giant X every single time, and Giant X have been punished a lot. Cloud ulping IGL. Not sure, you know. We'll have to see how this goes for the rest of the game, but that's very intensive to play the Euro up. Lovely from Tomasi though.
Tomasi, he's finding impact. But do we get put into a retake scenario with that operator in play? You can see how far away Cloud is. He's going to have a long time to come over here. Paranoia is great. Westside will have to rescind away from the site. Actually, does he play it out of the smoke? He does! Great trade, and the stall towards Long gives him some isolated fights. Cloud gets caught though. So hard to clear with that operator, and now the ult going to come in, potentially trying to reveal the intentions of the remainders, but you can already see where the plant's being placed.
Yeah, Boo has tried his steps, so he can also go into heaven if he wants to here. open plant. It's going to be a very difficult puzzle for Westside to solve here.
Bet you like Westlife.
Westlife.
Yeah. What's your favourite?
It's James Blunt.
Cage triggered.
The lore behind James Blunt in you is wild. Westside will be slowly working in, but this, you can see the positions. How do you pry them out of here? He can't really get any more information, and he is purely at the mercy of the others. Benji, and now it feels weirdly silent. It didn't get it a half though, so all of that kind of falls away, and we're at 7-2. This, as close as it felt initially, it does feel like it's capitulating, right? GIANTX have stalled out a little bit. Their economy's not looking pretty. We haven't found that layer of adaptation. Tomasi, in my mind, again, having a nice little performance here, good impact, but that's nowhere near enough to convert these rounds.
I mean, it's the saving grace to Tomasi's performance, but it's frustrating. I'm in a position where I liked some of the early stuff from GIANTX, but they're just not winning rounds. And this adaptation from Heretics, just sit back and wait, is been enough.
Woot's having a great start to things, though, even though you hate him. Cloud creeping down long. Has support here, not on his own. Man, we could do with a round from Cloud. I've been waiting for the, you know, Cloud to
The Cloud
finally...
Yoru?
No, not the Cloud Yoru. That was not ever something on my mind, but I've always been a fan of Cloud, and it's been waiting for that to really come to the forefront, but I don't feel as though we're getting it here, but I'm always down for a round. But Heretics looking like they're going through all of the crossing the T's, dotting the I's. There's not a corner to play in here. Cloud getting cleared, forced forward by the Owl drone. But someone has backfilled the space here. How diligent are they going to be? Attention trying to be pulled towards long. They still clear it. Heads up work from Heretics. Not falling for any of these little pocket plays or quirky looks. This all feels too simple for Heretics.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I wonder what they do with this 50 seconds, whether they continue this. How diligent are they going to be,
I mean, do they
even on
have
this
to
end?
back? I feel like you can pressure forward if they've got the util for it. Riens could set this into motion quite nicely. There is always going to be threat here. Oh my god, and Purpo with a reminder. But quickly handled, and Westside should have been seen, he has been. And the options become near on 0 for Tomasi. There's 4 against you, and a plant soon to be had.
Spike planted.
Bessie's looking for some economy damage here. Not going to get it.
And again, as much as you hate him, Woot's had some fantastic first kill impact here. First blood's off the chart. Just...
Bully, it's like bullied on the desk last 2 days.
Who's been bullying you on the desk?
All of them.
All of them?
I did a TikTok.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I did. Is that one with you, Billy and Yinzu?
Yeah.
How did that make you feel? Emotionally?
Damaged.
You look more upset now than I've ever seen in like a Fnatic loss. That's stunning. We still have Purpo with his ult here. We do have Tomasi with his a little bit more passive to engage with, but we need a buffer. GIANTX, come on. Needed a bit more from you guys here. This was your choice. This was meant to be your arena. Cloud makes a wild play. And it's Purpo this time. Can he outdo Woot? When it comes to the statistics of these ults, he certainly can. But Woot is still providing value at the same time. Matching kill for kill, taking space, opening up this C site, and do they then take it? Do they walk into the area that he's carved through? But Tomasi has also found a little bit of space. Unfortunate on the angle, Woot was controlling that the entire time. And now really the carpet's rolled out.
This strat was crazy. Just Woot solo up, he's just feeling it.
Look, if you've got a player on a tear, you're going to let him go.
It's you and me.
Statistics, here we go. Mini lock-in.
Come on.
Woot, don't make me look... Oh. No! No! I don't want to hear it.
My eye test is... I'm a genius. Like, my eye test is so good.
God, and so humble as well, but it was enough to get GIANTX in the door. 3 rounds to their name. Finally getting back into this off the back of Woot. And the ult that just doesn't seem to land.
Yeah, he needs some work. He needs to watch... No, Dereka's ISO ulting is the best.
Mention any other player that's not...
Wait, Alpha statistically I think has better ISO ults.
Mini.
But Dereka...
Mini.
Watch that
Mini.
tech. Watch that
Mini.
tech.
Give me a player that's not been on Fnatic.
They're not... It's good though.
Please! I'm meant to be the biased one and you're outdoing me. 3-8. Plenty of ults here for GIANTX to play with. Again, Runner, do you have Shields? I don't know. I'm really hoping it's the UI. I'm uncertain at this point. I feel lied to. He does indeed have shields, so the UI once again, brilliant. Small indie company at the helm, but could be 9, could be 4 for Giant X. Let's see which way this shakes down. It does make the scoreline feel so different, and Cloud in the right place. Trying to play up ahead of this, though. He's a very knife's edge position.
Giant X are stacked towards the middle of the map. They're going to have to play retake again on A, which is not a fun position to be in. They do have the Teo ult in, and they do have flanks coming in, which is good case scenario. But Heretics should be aware of these flanks by now.
Has to be on the protocol list. Has to be known. Runner still has ult as well. Spike's now down, spotting 2 close by. And it's Boo to draw blood. Purpo's gone. The flank is noted. It's been found! Re-end, gorgeous work. Catching 2, perfectly complementing the positioning as well. Runner still doing well here, though. Cloud needs to find some impact, needs to find some work, as the numbers just so drastically against him. Heretics claiming 9 rounds.
Yeah, and all it took was Woot on ISO, so maybe that's going to be, you know, maybe every map.
It certainly could be. Woot looking fantastic here, barring the ult. But we'll be back in a second for the second half. Well, 9-3. Sparks of life initially. That beginning had me quite curious about Giant X, the rebuild, the restructure, the reimagination of this team. And then it started to fizzle out. Heretics getting the read mini and kind of getting the lay of the land so quickly. It's a credit to one Boo and just the structure and understanding, but it didn't feel threatening after those first couple of rounds.
No, I think they're going to have to add some layers to that, but you know, it is an attack-sided map. That's my only opium here. If Giant X can convert a pistol...
It's not even hopium, you said opium. Like,
I'm sorry, that's my British bottle of water.
I do think we need like an accent to go on a bit here, because all the other duos have, you know, silly accents.
Jesus!
What?
That's way more mean than me.
It's not mean. It's just whimsical. They've got the whimsy accents. I think you need to really lean into your Restolian
but
pass.
they got nothing on the flank, and
no, it'll be fine. It'll totally be fine. They're going to turn around. Oh my God, they turn around. Oh my good God, it's still fine though. Boo's gone down, but do they expect more? They've got. Oh, they don't. Please turn around and take a look at this. How did this just occur? We're down to a 2v2, and it's all gone Pete Tong. As Westside going to fall, as Cloud left alive, and this could have been redemption. This could have been a stepping stone back in. Maybe Cloud can still do it. Spike. Bit of a worrying spot, and Woot left in the 1v1.
Well.
Just don't think of it as an ult.
30 seconds left.
Timing's curious now as well, trying to keep a beat on where Cloud was and keep that internal clock ticking in the right manner. First spot found. Cloud needs to be the one to aggress here. 17 seconds. The pressure's on him, and you can see it. It's tough, and Woot's going to make light work of it. Comfortable in the end. The time being a real factor for Cloud then. And it's double digits for Heretics quickly.
I'm confused. Like maybe I missed it. Maybe the wire got broke. But how is there nothing?
No one reacting.
Giant X was setting up some really strange round where they were inserting a Euro into C with some kind of clone. They were doing some really fancy idea, and ultimately beaten by 4 pushing out A because there's nothing on the flank control.
Pistol God. It has been determined.
Ooh, Pistol God.
Very true. Buy is here. Giant X going to have to force around this, right? We got the Stingers out. We got a Sheriff there for Runner.
Yeah,
and they got to make it count. You know what I mean? You can't go down 11-3. This is where they're going to try and take their stand. A simplistic approach towards the A site.
Heretics are pushed out though, and so Giant X will be favored here in this post, despite the weapon disadvantage. I think they're fine.
Stingers have been looking more and more lethal.
That's big to get down the shield.
That's very true. Runner trying to get the timing right as well.
There's really just the paranoia here on the retake.
Paranoia can be pretty tasty. When's he going to get burnt? Boo, worried about the flank. Got to be worried about what in front here. Woot's going to find Tomasi, and here we go. Paranoia goes in. Woot doing so well. These Bulldogs making them look like light work, but finally they fight back. But Cloud, again, just overwhelmed me, and Heretics making the retakes look comfortable, which they are certainly not.
Yeah, I forgot. It's not just paranoia. It's Woot with a shield, and that does
That swings things a little bit.
quite a lot.
Okay. God, it's 11-3. That was kind of the redemption arc for Giant X. Now they're kind of screwed.
Yeah, it's.
Say it.
Oh, it's
Say
over. it's
Go for it. There's a comeback.
But this is what we want to see from Heretics.
It
is what we wanted to see.
Funny enough, I mean, we were talking about how shaky they looked first Apex, and it didn't feel like a confident side yet. And Heretics are one of the talismans of EMEA that are meant to be going forward and facing those international teams, and having shaky results against, you know, a team being built, one of the newer look teams, it wasn't quite good enough. Now, of course, Heretics walked away with the win in the end. That's fantastic, but this is a very clear message. Because I feel like Giant X are that next step up. They've got some experience here, a little bit of a different look, some very dangerous players, but yeah, 11-3, they've not felt threatening, and Woot's in such a rotten position for them to try and handle. Actually does go down in the end. Gonna only take away 1. That's Purpo removed, but Benji on the case. Miniboo takes a glance and gets dealt with. Hold on. Maybe signs of life. Maybe it's not over. Maybe Mini's lied to me. I don't think so, but we'll find out. We've got Westside and Runner still with the Sheriffs, which is going to make it tricky. Benji just storming the site.
Beautiful from Benji. I think that's as well something I want to pick up a little bit, is that Benji during kickoff, I'm not going to beat around the bush, he was not good at all. Like he wasn't playing to a level that I think is, that he would find acceptable.
Because he was so strong. I mean, in my mind, when I think about Benji, he was one of the most impactful players that we had going forward, barring one of your players upon one time, right? Like, I'm not even going to let you have the chance to say it. But if we do get the resurgence of Benji finding that level of form, I'm scared for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, if we get a Woot Benji performance, or, you know, even throwing a Miniboo or a Rienz at those high notes, this team does become Champions finalist quality, right? Here might just be the last chance for Giant X to try and get some redemption, really. A little bit of pride maybe on the line. Try and pull off more than 3 rounds.
Defaulting in towards A, and the Heretics have read it quite well. But Giant X, I will note that the last time I watched them play Attack Haven, they did have the layers. They weren't just going one-dimensional. They were exploring A main and garage, kind of ticking the boxes, I would say. So you can see that here too. So Heretics have stacked to the wrong place.
How long do they? Oh.
Cover going out.
Okay, Miniboo, pretty nice.
Yeah, Cloud was just
nice.
desperate to make a fake kind of work there, but he didn't need to do what he just did. So it looks like C is going to be the finish, but Heretics already shifted to that C side of the map already.
Already over here. Purpo kind of has to give away the game either way, but Heretics looking for the pre-take almost. Runner gonna find Woot, and it's just traded out. They're just going blow for blow here. Bodies dropping on the ground as Runner in Westside's position. Oh man, that's almost unfortunate timing. Could have had a teed up kill, but has to turn his attention back. Boo on the flank is gonna find the man as Runner now left in a 1v3 to try and claw back some pride in this map. This was their choice. This scoreline certainly wasn't how they saw this going. is running out with 3 targets, 2 to the left and 1 to the right. Spots a player, takes him down. It has to be nothing short of an ace here for Runner. And this reposition is heavenly, but they've read it. They've read it so damn well. This is shades of old for Heretics, looking strong here. Mini diffuses in. It's 13-3.
And it doesn't get any easier next map because guess what? Agent Woot might be playing on that one. It's going to be the ISO again, so it could be a rough series.
Yeah, this is uphill. It is uphill. I think we can call it that and put a pin in that. Heretics getting back to their old winning ways, but it's not over yet. That's only map 1. Split is coming up next.
Bale! Burst this!
Don't me buy to boo maybe.
No, why now?
Why now? Or right now?
Pistol God.
King Pistol God, I swear, bro.
Okay, you only got 1 kill, but that's the most important.